So, you've heard me talk about the Emperor like a whole bunch before.
More than I'd like you to.
Hey.
You talk about him a lot.
Like, it's literally my favorite character.
I know, but it's like you're a little in love with him or something.
No.
I don't know.
It's but literally the best character.
In your opinion.
No, best character. Anyways, my opinion is fact. We know this.
I'm sure plenty of people would disagree with that, but continue.
No, my opinion is fact. Anyways, so from what I've told you, what do you remember so that I know what parts to like kind of gloss over with you? Because I know we watched The Last Church when that video came out.
Yes.
But aside from that, other than being...
The only other thing that I really know is that he's like a skeleton in a fancy chair.
Okay, yeah, that pretty much summarizes it.
Yeah, that's basically what I know.
Alright, and then I showed you the wiki, which you didn't read any of it. I
God,
just showed
that was so long.
I just showed you the pages of me scrolling through shit. So basically, I read all that and took notes from it, so that I ramble less, and I just kind of memorized them.
Okay.
So, this part of the story I'm going to tell you with him is... It originally came out in, like, the 90s or something.
Mm-hmm.
The story for how the Emperor came into existence.
Okay.
It hasn't been retconned or anything.
What's that mean?
I
don't know what that is.
Okay, so retcon is like when the creator or the author or whatever goes back and is like, that didn't really happen, this happened instead. So they just completely change it.
Why?
I don't know, for whatever reason they have. It's like when the lady who made Harry Potter decided to make not Gandalf. Who the... Dumbledore decided...
God, I need to teach you about Harry Potter.
That can be a video. Decided to make Dumbledore gay and have all the wizards shit themselves. It's exactly like that. Basically, the author goes back and changes something.
Okay.
But anyways, it hasn't been retconned, but get in the recording and know which part to edit. Alright, so we had to stop for a little bit because Opal, or Husky, decided to grab a knife and run around with it.
She's a fucking idiot. I love her. She's a fucking idiot.
Oh my fucking god. Anyways, I kind of forget where we were at before, but basically... The story is there, it has not been changed, but because it is so old, like, Warhammer does 1st edition, 2nd edition, 4th edition.
Or
like
3rd edition.
Basically the editions are, like, updates to, like...
No, you said 1st, 2nd, and 4th. Where's the 3rd edition?
I missed 3rd. Anyways.
That's weird, you skipped over your favorite number.
Anyways, basically, every time they come out with a new edition, like, every, like... 4 to 6 years. Mm-hmm. It's basically like an update to the game part.
Okay.
And where they kind of start to release new stories and books in kind of like batches.
Okay.
It's basically like a soft reset of everything.
Okay.
And this has been around since 1st edition, and we're in the middle of 9th edition, I believe.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, so basically the story is there, but no one kind of pays any attention to it anymore.
Okay.
So that's all the preliminary stuff on to what actually happened. So I think it's like 10,000 BC or something.
Mm-hmm.
All of, like, the shamans of the world and everything. Like every time you see a primitive movie, it's like the dude with the bone through his nose.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Basically, those are like the primitive version of psychers in the modern time.
Okay.
But they were more powerful because every time they died, when their souls would go to the warp, as everyone else does, they could take their souls and, like, reincarnate themselves, basically.
Oh, okay. So basically they were just...
Yes.
Coming back all
but
the time.
over time, the warp became more and more, like, dangerous.
Okay.
Because human, like, emotion and stuff started to affect it. Which is what leads into Khorne and Nurgle and Tzeentch coming into existence. Which, I'll explain more of them when we do their video.
Okay.
But just for now, know that they were created by, like, human emotions.
Okay.
So basically during...
Those are like the Chaos Gods or whatever, right?
Yes, the Chaos Gods. There is also Slanesh, but that is the Eldar's fault, not people.
Okay.
So basically, like, when they would go through the warp, they noticed, like, hey, some of us are starting to come back less often. Mm-hmm. The fuck is going on? Yeah. So then there was, like, a meeting where all the shamans over the entire world, like, had a little meeting. It's like, hey, we need to figure out what to do with the warp. Because obviously we're all dying off. Yeah. And if it's killing us, then chances are it'll kill the rest of our species.
Yeah.
Because whenever you die, you just go to the warp. That's like where your soul goes if you have one.
So it's like kind of like how some cultures and stuff would believe that like you become part of the stars or whatever when you die.
Yeah, honestly, kind of exactly like that.
Okay.
Except in the warp, since now there are demons in there now from the Chaos Gods, you just basically get eaten and you cease to exist.
Nice.
Yes.
That sounds exciting.
Which is why a lot of people pray to the Chaos Gods, because then at least you get to work for them.
Well, at least I don't get eaten.
Yeah.
Woo.
Well, sometimes you still get... Actually, 90% of the time you still get eaten.
That's ass. Okay.
Anyway. So basically all the shamans are like, okay, we know how to fix this. We have a little magic ability where one or two people can like merge their souls together for whatever reason they want to. It's not explained. They just say like, hey, we can do this.
Okay.
How about we all do it? And then whatever being comes out of that will be hopefully strong enough to like fight
Stay
back.
around.
Yeah, stay around and fight against the warp and all that.
Okay.
So they all commit suicide together. Not a calm suicide either. I believe it's explained in the books where they like bash their own heads in with rocks and shit.
Freaking why?
So then they can all die and then merge their souls.
Yeah, but why? Why would they choose a painful death?
I don't. They're in a
Like,
meeting.
that's extreme.
The craziest thing I found about this was because I didn't read the story directly, but I watched a video of where they explained it. Because it's like hard to get a hold of.
Okay.
And basically it's like they had this meeting. After a few hours, they were just all convinced like, okay, fuck it. Which, I mean, that's fine because, you know, if it doesn't work, they just get reincarnated.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. Anyways.
It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyways, fast forward to 8000 BC in Anatolia where, do you know where like modern day Turkey is?
Yes.
Like the part of Turkey that's actually in Asia?
Yes.
Okay. And that part, like ancient Anatolia, little baby is born, and that's the emperor. And
so he was the result of all the shamans
merging their souls together.
Like murdering themselves and then merging their souls together.
If you think them killing themselves with rocks is calm,
it's not.
I cannot I mean, is not calm. I cannot wait to explain some of the other factions to you. Like,
they're all fucking psychotic.
Like, when we get into Tyranids, and especially how the Drukhari murder people, oh my god, that is going to be fun.
They're all fucking psychotic.
What do you mean they're all psychotic?
They're all psychotic.
Oh yeah, they're all crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, the Tyranids are more like a hive mind, like just kill, eat, move on sort of thing, but...
Don't get you sidetracked.
Yeah, my bad. Fuck, this is why I made bullet points.
That you aren't following?
Yeah. Anyways, baby is born. His father dies, and while he's at the funeral, he gets a vision that his uncle is the one who murdered his father. Oh. So basically, little teenager emperor walks up to his uncle and just stares at him and just stops his heart. And then at that moment, the emperor was like, okay, I didn't do it because I was angry or sad or out of revenge. Obviously, these monkey people need to be taught and shown how, like, laws work and shit.
Monkey people? Meaning, like, just regular old people?
Yeah, monkey people. The Eldar in the series actually refer to humans as Monkai. Monkey, Monkai.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Very creative, the people who make this series.
Quite.
But anyways, then he basically travels the world for several thousands of years, and it's like hinted at like, oh, hey, when he taught people, he was like Buddha and Jesus and all that, basically being like, hey, stop killing people. But obviously people misinterpret that as like religion, and he's like, fuck.
Yeah, and he hates religion, doesn't he?
Yes, because...
But people worship him like a god, so it kind of defeats his whole purpose.
Oh, I'm probably going to break this video up into 2 videos just because of how long it's already taken to get through this. But when we get to the second part, when we talk about Lorgar, which is one of the Emperor's sons, oh, the irony in that is going to be just great. But anyways, after he's done traveling the world, during like, I think it's like the Middle Ages or like just before then, where you hear about the story of like King Arthur versus like the dragon and all that. So basically... I think it's like somewhere in the Middle East. I think it's explained in one of the Mechanicus books.
Okay.
The one you recently heard me listening to like a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's basically explained like, oh, that was the Emperor going to go fight what's it's not said, but it's 90% of people theorizing about it. Like, yeah, that's like the Void Dragon,
Okay.
which is a Catan, which is like a star god, and basically goes around and eats suns for energy.
Oh. Nice.
That's all I'm going to tell you about them, because they're more explained with the Necrons and the War in Heaven, which is like the start of the galaxy sort of thing.
Okay.
So anyways, this is one of the last of them.
God, there's so much stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying so hard to like compartmentalize all this information, but it took me years to learn all this fucking lore about this.
Yay, me.
Yay, you! Anyways, though, he fights the Void Dragon, and he's like, fuck, I can't kill it. Well, I'm gonna go to Mars. Granted, this is medieval times. Don't know how he gets to Mars.
Okay.
He goes to Mars, and he hides the Void Dragon inside Mars.
Okay.
And which is why I explained to you in the Mechanicus video, where the Emperor's like, don't open the Noctis Labyrinth.
Oh, that's why they're telling him not to go down there.
Yes.
Because he's like, I don't want you to let this dragon out.
Yes, because I could barely fucking kill it.
Gotcha.
I don't want to fight it again.
Gotcha.
Also...
I mean, that makes sense, but why wouldn't you just tell them that? So then, people, if you tell them not to do something, they're like, ooh, I want to do it.
Well, because he, like, kind of, like, wipes their mind of, like, the location of it and all that, I think is explained in the book. He does that a lot, by the way.
Oh.
But also, the Void Dragon, just its presence, makes people really love technology.
Okay.
So it's basically speculated that the Emperor put the dragon on Mars on purpose, so that one day the Mechanicum could become a thing.
Okay.
Because it influences people to want to learn more and like build shit.
Okay, well that makes sense, but he should still just tell them why he doesn't want to go down there.
Oh, babe, the fact of like he could have just explained is the reason why everything ends up falling apart.
Lovely.
Everything he does is secret for almost no fucking point, and it's what basically causes the Horus Heresy.
Nice.
It's because everyone's like, why did he leave? Well, he's not telling anyone. Anyways, back to the story, though. He goes down, puts the dragon inside Mars, and it's like, one day this will make the Mechanicum. Okay. Because the Emperor can see into the future and shit.
Yeah, I know you've mentioned that before.
Yeah, but in 40k, the future is kind of like, oh, it could happen, it couldn't happen. It's not indefinite. It's like...
So it's basically like, if this certain path is followed, then this is like the result.
This is the outcome, yes.
Okay.
If I do A, B, and C, then D will happen.
Okay.
But if I change something different, well, I can see that future too, and I don't like that future, so let's go with this one, sort of thing.
Okay.
That's more or less how it's explained. But nothing is ever definite. The story gets changed on almost a daily basis.
Okay.
So fast forward then to what's known as the Dark Age of Technology.
I've heard you talk about that a lot.
Yes, which is when humans have like the black hole shit, and it's like, hey, we can murder anyone we want to.
And then is that when they like, the stuff happens with AI and all that?
Yes, but this is slightly before that.
Okay.
So slightly before that, when the human race is like just going around the galaxy and it's like, hey, build it, take it, yeah. Sort of thing like that.
Basically just being assholes?
No, they're very scientifically advanced.
Yeah, but they're being dicks. Just murdering whoever they want so they can get what they want.
Well, no, it's not directly that. I just made that as a joke. Okay. But all lore on that is basically like, we don't know what the fuck they did. We don't know if the human race was one government, multiple governments, things like that.
Okay.
But basically the Emperor goes to this planet called Molech. And he goes there, I believe he goes there with a woman named Erda, and she is what's known as a perpetual, and she can basically do the same thing that the shamans did, where if she dies, she just comes back to life.
Gotcha, okay.
Which is the same thing Emperor does, but his is slightly different because he's more powerful. He just basically reappears.
Because he's a bunch of shamans combined. He's not just one.
Yes. But with perpetuals, it's not that like you get reincarnated, it's just... For instance, if your body is completely destroyed, you just reappear somewhere. And it's just like, oh, I'm alive again. Fuck.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Whereas if you're like partially alive, you just kind of like grow back, like Deadpool sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, he goes to Molech. Mm-hmm. He shows up, and there's like a chaos portal there. And he goes through the chaos portal, and basically no one knows what happened with like the meeting, because he went there to like talk to the chaos gods. And it's basically no one knows exactly what happened, because it's like he either stole the technology, learned of it, or made a trade or something to learn how to make Primarchs, which are later his sons and, like, generals and all that.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about a couple of them. And you said there's, like, a whole bunch of them.
There's 20, 18 of which are talked about in the story. The other 2 are, like, we don't talk about them.
Why?
No one knows. We don't talk about them, though.
Okay. That's kind of confusing. Like, there's a shit ton of information, but there's also a lot of, like, kind of spotty parts.
Oh my god. For instance, we've so far went over, like, 20, 30,000 years in which there's only, like, a paragraph of information on the Emperor. Now, fast-forwarding past Old Night, which is what's referred to as... Oh, no, it's not Old Night. Is it Age of Strife? I believe it's referred to as Old Night and referred to as, like, the Age of Strife, but it's when, like, all the planets, like, became their own thing after the AI revolt and the chaos rift across the galaxy.
Yeah, when everybody was, like, separated.
Yeah, and then when Slaanesh came into existence and no one could travel through space.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that a few times.
Yeah. So, basically that happens, and then after a couple thousand years, the Emperor's like, okay, I discovered this thing underneath the Asian continent, and it will allow us to not travel through the warp, but travel through something called the webway, which, if you think of, like, the warp as, like, a desert, where it's, like, really dangerous, poisonous things, if you try to walk across it, it's gonna fucking suck if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
The webway is like a highway in the middle of that desert.
Okay.
And basically, you need special gateways to enter the webway. It's not like the warp where it's like, oh, we have a ship, let's just go there.
Just go there, yeah.
Yeah, with the webway, you need to enter through, like, specific points.
Okay.
Like a highway, like go off the freeway onto the highway, sort of thing like that.
Yeah.
And there was one on Earth, and the Emperor's like, okay, I'm going to start building the Golden Throne now. And basically, the Golden Throne is what will access the webway for humanity.
Isn't that what he sits on? When he's all bony and shit?
Yes, because it's also...
dead?
Yes, because it is also the Astronomicon, which is the lighthouse thing I told you about in the last video.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Yes. So basically, he's trying to get the webway to work. In the meantime, he's also working on the Primarchs, and he's also working on what is called the Thunder Warriors.
Jesus, talk about multitasking.
Well, he's basically a god.
Yeah, Jesus. Sounds like a lot of work.
Well, yeah, but in this time he has, like, a team of people and, like, scientists and all that, and he's basically gathering up other perpetuals to, like, come work for him, basically.
So he doesn't do it by himself.
Oh, yeah, no, he's not by himself. And he basically has, like, a tiny little empire on Earth just over what is going to be the Golden Throne to, like, protect it while he works on it, sort of thing.
Okay.
So basically, thousands of years go by, and then he's working now on something called, Thunder Warriors, which are basically prototype Space Marines.
Okay.
And basically, they're stronger and, like, more resilient, but they're also kind of, like, dumber, and, like, they're basically, if you think of, like, a World War I tank versus, like, a World War II tank. World War I tank, stronger because there's a shit ton of metal on it. However, World War II tank is more fuel efficient.
Okay.
And that's basically how you can think of it.
Okay.
That was a horrible analogy, but
yeah,
but you understood it at least.
I kind of agree. You know, I don't listen to history stuff either, so I don't know why you try to give me a history analogy.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, one is stronger, more resilient, but they, like, burn through energy quicker, and they're not versatile. They're just, like, run in, kill it, leave.
Okay.
Whereas Space Marines are very, like, precise, like the Navy SEALs.
Okay.
Except, like, 10
that
feet
makes
tall.
more sense.
Okay. Anyway. So basically he starts conquering the planet, like how you saw in the last church video.
Yes, when he's burning all the churches.
Yes, and he gets to the last church, talks to that guy. I'm just going over this just for the video. I already know you know about that part.
I know about it.
Yeah. Goes to the last church, talks to him, tries to recruit him to be like, hey, come work for me, sort of thing. And the guy's like, no, and he walks into the church.
Which you're saying, he was pretty douchey during that.
Who, the priest or the emperor?
The emperor.
He's kind of douchey in general.
Still.
I mean, for God's sakes, if you can see the future and it's like, I am right. It's like, how are you not going to come across as douchey?
Yeah, but still, he literally went there to talk to that guy to understand him. And basically...
The entire time it's like, no, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
sort
like,
of thing.
Okay, I hear you, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't really trying to understand him at all. I feel like he was acting like he wanted to listen to him, just so he could try to get him to work for him.
Oh, you have not seen the beginning of it. this video at this point is going to be 2 parts because we're already at 20 minutes and I don't want to go 40 minutes like we did last time.
Yeah.
But the second part of this video, when he starts gathering up all of his sons, some of them he's just like, hey, you come with me now. We're leaving. And it's like, wait, but my people, fuck them. You're coming with me. Let them die.
Wait, so then why the heck is he, like, your favorite character? Like, why do you always like asshole characters in literally everything?
Because he is great.
Okay, but now literally all he is bones.
Yeah.
Like, he's nothing.
And he's still psychically talking to people like, hey, don't do that.
Okay, but
You'll kill us all.
Okay, but he can't even do anything anymore. He's just sitting there.
Well, yeah, but there's some ways around that, and there's some theories about how he's, like, slowly regaining his power. Anyways, back to, like, the main part of the story. So, where was I at before? Last church. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, gets to Last Church, does all that, talks with the guy. Yeah. The guy kills himself because he's like, no, I'm going to stay with my faith.
Like, this is what I believe in, and I'm going to die believing in it.
Yeah, I'm going to die believing in it. I'm going to die with the building that is the representation of that.
Yeah.
So then the Emperor is like, okay, well, now time to get my Primarchs and my Space Marines and all that and go on. So he takes all of his Thunder Warriors, and this is just a theory, but it's pretty much everyone is like, this is what happened.
Okay. Well, it seems like that happens a lot. There's like a theory, and then
there's so many theories.
Believe it.
What did happen though was the Thunder Warriors basically had one last battle, and then they just ceased to exist because they all died.
Okay.
But it's one of those things like, if this army conquered the entire planet, how the fuck did they all die in a battle? In which not a single one of them survived.
Okay.
So this entire time the Emperor has also had the Custodies, which are his own personal, like, army.
Okay.
And they're known as, like, the 10,000, because there's only 10,000 of them.
Okay.
But they're literally the strongest military force in all of the Imperium.
Okay.
If Space Marines are, like, factory-produced vehicles, the Custodies are individual, like, I'm going to spend all day making my custom car.
Okay.
Sort of thing like that. And the cool thing about Custodies, which I'll talk about when they get their own video, is that every time they, like, accomplish something, they get another name.
Okay.
And it's normally, like, a Greek or Roman name that, like, is of significance.
Okay.
So for Custodians, their name, they could have thousands of names, and that is their name.
Jesus.
And and later on, during the Great Crusade, which is when the Emperor goes out to find his sons and just grow the Empire.
Yeah.
At some point, 3 Custodians died, and the Emperor took their names and etched them into his own armor. He did not even do that for his own sons when they would die.
Look at him having one redeeming moment.
Oh, yeah. He has many redeeming moments, which is why I like him. His one redeeming moment is when he ends up dead on the Golden Throne. That's one of his biggest redeeming moments, is like, oh, he did care. Oh, fuck, he's dead. But anyways, so basically, they all just die. No one knows what happened. And the Emperor's like, yeah, no, they're dead. Hey, look, we have Space Marines now, though. and so basically, it's like, foreseen as like, okay, chances are the Emperor called them all to one location, and he just had his Custodians just mow them all down.
Because he had the Space Marines now, so he didn't have use for them, basically.
Yes, and the Space Marines were more of a military.
Yeah.
Whereas the Thunder Warriors were more of like, hey, this swarm of just killers, point them that way.
Was it Space Marines or was it Thunder Warriors that was in the Last Church video?
It was Thunder Warriors.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so the big dudes with just like the chain swords and all that. It's just like, it's basically like an angry mob, whereas the Space Marines were an actual military force.
Okay.
And they were just...
Well, it's still shiny, but...
Yeah, and they were just overall better, but Thunder Warriors were stronger.
Okay.
So anyways, then he like goes back into his lab and it's like, okay, we're almost ready to go. Or my son's about to be born. And the Urda chick, who I mentioned to you before, the Emperor used some of her DNA too, because, you know, man, woman, and all that. Yeah. Used some of her DNA too to create the Space Marines. Okay. Not Space Marines, the Primarchs.
Okay.
And basically she was like, no, these are my children. I don't want them to be generals and warriors and be like you. I want them to like have their own lives. So I'm going to throw them all into space.
Oh, shit.
So basically it's explained like a warp rift opens up. It's believed to be with like she got help from Chaos.
Okay.
Because Chaos was like, we can't have the fucker we hate to have
kids.
To have children that will fuck us all up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kill them. But she was like, oh yeah, no, I'm tricking Chaos too. So they were basically scattered out throughout the galaxy.
Okay.
And coincidentally enough, every Primarch ended up on a planet randomly.
Right.
And basically the Emperor was like, fuck. Well, I have their DNA. Okay, I'm gonna make Space Marines now. Which was always the plan, but he had the Gene Seed, which I'm gonna explain Gene Seed to you real quick.
Okay.
So, Emperor uses his DNA to create Primarchs. Then he uses the Primarch's DNA to create the Space Marines.
Okay.
So, basically, each Space Marine of said Primarch is basically looked up to as their father.
Okay, yeah, you've explained that to me before. Like, you said, like, I know you, like, mentioned, like, the Primarch, and then, like, this is, like, the Space Marines that goes with that dude.
Yes, and when Space Marines talk to, like, another legion, at this time they're in legions, not chapters. So basically think of like a Roman legion where it's just a shit ton of soldiers. So each legion like looks to each other like, oh, hello, cousin, and that's how they like refer to themselves as. Because genetically they have the genetics of the Primarch, but they're just a normal person, and it's like, we're gonna shove all these organs inside you.
Oh, creepy.
Which Space Marines will get their own video to talk about all their enhancements. And basically, Gene Seed is grown inside Space Marines. Okay. Because during the modern time of 40k, no one can recreate Gene Seed because none of the Primarchs are around anymore. Okay. Because they're dead or missing or turned traitor or things like that. Yeah. So they can't create their own Gene Seed. Yeah. So Gene Seed is grown inside a Space Marine. And then when they die or just get to a certain point, an apothecary, which is like a Space Marine medic, will take out their Gene Seed, and then they use that to put into like a new recruit. Okay, gotcha. So then they like grow and have. So basically, Space Marines are basically self-replicating, basically. Okay. Anyways, they all go missing. The Emperor's like, well, fuck, I have their Gene Seed. I'll just make all their legions now, and I'll lead the legions out to find all my sons. Okay. And that's basically where this video is going to end. Okay. Because the second part of this is basically going to go over... I'm going to skim over him finding all of his sons. Okay. Because I feel like it's better to do individual videos rather than try to do it all. Okay. Because it's hard to tell 20 stories. Or 18 stories. Yeah. Of like, hello, father, fuck you, get on the ship, sort of thing. Yeah. Some of them he, like, hugs, and it's like, oh, it's finally nice to meet you, sort of thing. Others, it's just he slaps him and is like, get on the ship or I'm going to kill you. Oh, nice. So you can see why there was a civil war later on. Yeah. But that was basically it for that. Did you have any quick questions? I'm sorry I kind of blazed through it, but, like...
No, I have no questions.
You have no questions? No. You completely understood everything.
Yeah. I understand it, it's just a lot.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a lot. I need to start, like, drinking water while we do this, because my throat really fucking hurts.
Alright. Yep, I'm good.
Alright, you're good?
Yes.
So, basically, to summarize it, Emperor born of mass suicide and soul merging. Emperor travels planet, tries to help everyone, and slightly fucks up along the way, creating a shit ton of religions by accident. Then he goes to Molech, talks or tricks the Chaos Gods into giving them the power to create Primarchs. Then basically the apocalypse happens throughout the galaxy. And then he rises up and is like, okay, time to get this shit going. Starts on all of his multiple projects, reconquers Terra, Earth. And then it's like, okay, my sons are all missing, time to go find them.
Got it.
And that's basically what's all happened at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
All right, good?
Yeah.